why not let him go? Let him go and try and see what it is. If you lock him up, you won't know anything. You can't guide him, you can't teach him. Unless you let him go, he will do it, you see. So we decided, okay, go, throw him in the ocean, let him swim.
Nice to meet you guys.
Nice to meet you too.
Bye. Bye. Okay, hi everyone. Today is my 90th day on the road, so it's been exactly 3 months since I left home in Singapore. Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Laos, Cambodia, Vietnam, China, North Korea, Kyrgyzstan, Kazakhstan, Uzbekistan, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Iran, Turkey, Bulgaria, Serbia, Hungary, Slovakia, Czech Republic, Germany, the US and Canada. From my teenage years, I really wanted to travel from Singapore to London overland. And that was going to be like the big trip of my life. So why Canada? That's because I decided to study in Canada and possibly move there. And I knew it was going to be more challenging and I really wanted to challenge myself even more to push the boundaries as much as possible. But for the trip itself, as in like an itinerary, the places I'll visit, I didn't really do a lot of planning. In fact, 80 to 90% of the time, most of the time, I was unsure where I was going to be a week later. You would be surprised where life takes you or where the trip takes you. I spent 10,000 SGD on this trip, and each day I set aside $25. I used couch surfing instead of staying at hostels or hotels, unless if absolutely necessary. For tourist attractions, I didn't visit the ones which were more expensive, and I visited the ones that were either free or more within my budget. So in the Balkan states, like in the ex-Yugoslav states, I was hitchhiking a lot, and a lot of people mistook me for, again, an Afghan refugee. Europe was in the middle of waves of migrants coming from Turkey and heading up north by land to Germany. And so some of them thought that I was one of these migrants. I was standing by the side of the road trying to hitchhike, and I had people pointing the middle finger at me, telling me to F off, go back to my country and stuff like that. Hitchhiking in Central Asia, it was really easy. People were really open to giving foreigners a lift. So there are many ways to hitchhike. One is holding a sign, which is the most efficient because you sort of filter out drivers who are not going in your direction. And also it makes it, a driver might be driving and he sees that, oh, you're going to the same place as I'm going, and so he or she may stop. But that also has its danger because people know where you're going, and so they could lie and say that they're also going to that place when they're actually not, and then they could bring you somewhere else and do stuff to you. Second way is to put your thumb up and stand by the side of the road. That is less efficient because then you have drivers who might not go in your way stopping, but it's also safer than holding up a sign because even if a driver claims that he's going your way, you always ask where they're going first, and if you think that the driver is not a good match or if he looks a bit suspicious, you can always reject by lying and saying that you're going to another place. The third way, which is my preferred method, is to actually go to a fuel station and ask people. Because this way you not only get to be in a sheltered environment, but you also get to converse a bit with the potential driver and get to know before accepting their rides. So that was one of the most memorable experiences. In order to stick to the spirit of my trip, I decided to cross the Atlantic by boat and not take any flights, though it would have been cheaper to take flights. Because on a cargo ship, it's about an 11-day journey, and the price not only includes a seat on board, or rather a room on board, a cabin on board, but also 3 meals. So if you were to think it in that perspective, it's actually not that expensive. It was sort of like a cruise trip, but a different experience. You can't buy it on the internet just like that. So I had to email each and every cargo ship company and ask them for their sailing schedules. So first 2 days was really fun because that was the honeymoon period where you're in a new environment. But after that, things got really boring, so I was mostly just cooped up in my room and doing my own stuff. Yeah, from time to time, I also like hung out with the crew on board.
Of course, for us, yes, every day is out, it's not with us. Every day, okay, the one thing we told him is, every day you must call. You don't call, we will call. Of course, there are certain places he will not get, internet. Very difficult. Sometimes you take about a week or 2 weeks, no communication, we get worried. But somehow you call back, that will give us peace of mind, you see. I also tell my wife, when he called, listen to his voice. And then we will tell him, put your face in video chat. We want to see your face. So we know what is going on, you see, which he used to do. I will advise him, please, whatever it is, find some ways, or whatever it is, just let us know. At least we can help from our end, you see.
Traveled to Singapore from Montreal, but going in the other direction. So via the US West Coast, then across the Pacific Ocean, and maybe, disembark somewhere in Asia and then make my way overland to Singapore. Then I can finally say that I have circumnavigated the globe without ever setting foot on a plane.